hometowns and heroes all across this land. Hometowns and heroes, let's give them a hand.
I'm Mark Stewart from Hometowns and Heroes, and today we're at Skyline Regional Park here in Buckeye, Arizona, one of the fastest growing communities in the West. And this is the perfect place to introduce to you some of the hometown heroes that have been featured on DirecTV, giving more of themselves, making this a better country. And to start off the show, let's meet Rebecca Blackwell.
The city of Buckeye in Arizona has put a lot of heart into this project. They're bringing in the traveling Vietnam Wall. It's a facsimile of the one that's back in Washington, and it's exact. So we're going to be seeing it going by here in a few minutes, and it will be a thrill because it's moving here to Buckeye.
I think it's fantastic. It brings the community out, supporting the veterans. We've been doing it a long time. Hope we get to continue to be a part of it. I think it's a great thing.
Join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, Vice Mayor Craig Hustis.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please remain standing.
Order! Up! Please. Forward. Work! Thank you. You may be seated. Good afternoon. I'm Jackie Meck, Mayor of the City of Buckeye, and I'm overwhelmed to be here today to experience this emotional tribute to the veterans of the Vietnam War. As a native of Buckeye, it is a privilege to have this 80% replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. here over the Veterans Holiday. A famous, anonymous quote from the Vietnam era sums up perfectly what it was like for all of the servicemen and women who were sent to Vietnam. Not everyone who lost his life in Vietnam died there. Not everyone who came home from Vietnam ever left there. Not everyone who lost his life in Vietnam died there. Not everyone who came home from Vietnam ever left there. This is the first of 4 days to remember our family and friends who served in Vietnam and gave their all during the war. There are ceremonies planned daily to honor those we lost, including 6 local young men from right here in Buckeye. Throughout the 4 days, we'll hear from some veterans firsthand on their experiences and learn what our schools are doing to ensure this war is never forgotten. Today, our keynote speakers are Buckeye's very own Fire Chief Bob Costello and Police Chief Larry Hall. They will focus on the close ties and commitment our armed forces have with public safety. We'll honor our prisoners of war, those missing in action, and Gold Star mothers, those who have lost a son or daughter while serving in the U.S. Armed Forces. The Gold Star symbolizes a family member who died in the line of duty. This is also the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam Wall, so I will now read a proclamation to remind all of us that it's never too late to pay a tribute to our fellow Americans who answered the call of duty to protect our freedom. 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War Proclamation. Whereas the city of Buckeye observes the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War, we reflect on the valor of a generation that has served our country with honor. And we pay tribute to more than 3 million servicemen and women who left their families to bravely defend our freedom. Whereas, through more than a decade of combat through jungles, heat, and monsoons, to heroically protect the ideals we hold dear, these proud Americans upheld the highest tradition of our armed forces. Whereas, as a grateful nation and city, we honor more than 58,000 patriots whose names are etched in the black granite and sacrificed all they had and all they would ever know. May we draw inspiration from our heroes who suffered unspeakably as prisoners of war, yet return home with their heads held high. Whereas we please to support those who were wounded and still carry the scars of war, both visible and unseen. We also pledge to do everything in our power to bring home the more than 1,600 service members among all the missing. We must never forget these servicemen and women, and we must continue our commitment for their safe return. And whereas we support all the military family members and veterans who carry a pain that will never fade, as seen in the reflection of the wall. May they find peace knowing their loved ones endure in the hearts of all Americans who are forever grateful for their service, valor, and sacrifices. And whereas the city of Buckeye is partnering with the federal government to participate in the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam Wall, a 13-year program to honor and thank a generation of Americans who saw our country through one of the most challenging missions ever faced. May we all be reminded it's never too late to pay tribute to our fellow Americans who answered the call of duty. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Jackie Meck, Mayor of the City of Buckeye, hereby proclaim the City of Buckeye will show our Vietnam veterans, our fallen, wounded, unaccounted for, former prisoners of war, their families, and all who served the utmost respect by living up to their example of honor, integrity, and valor. Given under my hand in these free United States in the state of Arizona on the 9th day of November 2017, and to which I have caused the seal of the City of Buckeye to be affixed and have made this proclamation public. Our invocation today is from Chaplain J. Rojas from Buckeye's Police Department.
America doesn't forget. John 15:13 says, Greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friends. Psalms 82, 3-4. Give justice to the weak and the fatherless. Maintain the right of the afflicted and the destitute. Rescue the weak and the needy. Deliver them from the hand of the wicked. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to meet here today to share your love. We thank you, Lord, for those who have given their lives. For those who have given their lives so we can have peace and freedom. And we ask you, Lord, to watch over the families of our fallen brothers and sisters, because the pain of losing a loved one never ends, regardless of time. And we ask you to keep those who are still fighting safe and protect them from any wrong that may come their way, so they can protect us from those who mean us harm. In the name of the Holy Trinity, amen.
Now it's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speakers. They're Buckeye's very own everyday heroes who keep our city safe and often put themselves in harm's way to protect us. Please welcome Police Chief Larry Hall and then Buckeye Fire Chief Bob Costello.
My name is Larry Hall, and I'm the police chief for the city of Buckeye, and I'm extremely humbled to be here today for this event. My team and I assisted with the escort of the wall-in yesterday, and I can tell you that all of them were extremely honored and humbled to have that honor. Full disclosure, I was born in 1970, so the war in Vietnam was well underway at that time, and my connection with the war was obviously limited. However, 20 years later, I went into public service as a police officer, and I worked for a pretty large department on the East Coast. Many of the veterans of the Vietnam War were continuing their service in law enforcement at that time as well, and were role models for me and the other ones that came on with me. And I learned more about service from them and about inner city policing from them. And I'm proud to say those veterans are the ones that made me who I am today. I remembered them as courageous, smart, caring, and yes, maybe a little crazy, but on a good side. In a good way, rather. All of us new boots learned from their experiences, and we thanked God that they were on our side. But like Mayor Meck, some never left there. And even as young police officers, we knew that, and we respected that. If we were lucky, some of the veterans would share their experiences with us, and naturally some wouldn't. The ones that would share could put the most difficult, high-stress scenes that a new police officer faces in perspective. And I never saw them bring drama to any situation. They were always calm, collected approach in any crisis, and they are and continue to be quiet warriors. And in closing, on behalf of my friends, my family, and my community, I'd like to personally thank all of you for the freedom that we enjoy every single day. And we'll never forget the sacrifices you, your brothers, and your sisters made for our nation. Thank you.
This display this weekend is an opportunity to do many things. To remember the supreme sacrifice of those that gave it all, to help with the healing for those that have served and the families of those that didn't return, and an educational opportunity for all of us to recognize the true cost of a free society. As I've stated many times, there's a concern that on our part of society we want to sterilize history, to erase the ugly parts and no longer share the sacrifices that so many have made to protect our way of life. Do away with the chapters in the history books, bury the photos and films, to conveniently forget to teach this part to our nation's youth. I don't know how you can make war or acts of violence pretty, but trust me, there are people out there right now trying to. There's a cost for our free society, and the wall graphically represents that cost, name by name. So as we move forward, let's embrace these symbols that we've grown to recognize. Let's share with others their true meanings, and may we never forget the sacrifices that they represent. In closing today, may God bless the servicemen and women that have served and those that have paid the supreme price for our freedoms. May God bless the police officers and firefighters that have given it all for each of us, and please bless their families for their sacrifices. And I would offer a special blessing for those that are serving today so that they may return home safely to their families and loved ones. A free society is not free, and may we never forget that. Thank you.
My name's Jackie Meck. I'm a native of Buckeye, born here in 1941, very close to this spot within 2 blocks. So I'm a native and I've lived here my entire life. This Vietnam Wall, the 3rd time we've had it here, and this is extremely important to us to connect with history. A lot of the young people that were here today out of the elementary schools have never heard of the Vietnam War. Today they got an idea by not only walking, looking at the wall. Several of the young people have gone and actually scratched and got names off of the wall. Whether they know them or not, I don't know. That's immaterial. They just know that there are people that have given their lives for our freedom, and what we're doing here today in this community is because of not only the Vietnam War, but the wars prior to. My dad served in World War II, came home after spending 2 years in Beaumont Hospital in Beaumont, Texas, because of being hit by a mortar. So people that are here have memories, those memories, good, bad, and ugly, but they're here. Several of the veterans were here today, and we thank God for those people that were here. They certainly have given to our lives. This community has supported veterans. As long as I'm around, I certainly will continue to do so. We have 6 pictures behind me. They are young men that were from Buckeye. I know all 6. I know their families. They are the families that were here. 2 of the 4 are natives of Buckeye. They're older families that I knew when I was growing up. So this is 6 people that we have from this very spot. So we thank them for their service. We thank them for their parents that allowed them to go into the service, and certainly we're glad to have them. We'll be honoring them in the next 2 or 3 days. We're a growing community. The community itself today is almost 70,000 residents. These residents have come from all over the USA. We welcome them in Buckeye. We want them here. We're looking for businesses to come in and provide jobs. A lot of our people go to the east every morning and find jobs. We want those jobs kept here. This program that we have with Vietnam, we're very thankful to have them here, thankful for the people that put all their time into making this what it is today, certainly a success. Over the next 3 days, we will continue to do that. So thank you very much for those of you that served. We thank God for people like you. Thank you very much.
I'm just trying to be a father, raise a daughter and a son, be a lover to the mother, everything to everyone, up and at 'em bright and early, all business in my suit. I'm dressed up for success, my head down to my boots, don't do it for the money, there's bills that I can't pay. Do it for the glory, just do it anyway. Providing for our future's my responsibility. I'm real good under pressure, being all that I can be. Ain't call it sick on Mondays when the weekend's been too strong. I work straight through the holidays, sometimes all night long. You can bet that I'll stand ready when that wolf growls at the door. I'm solid, I'm steady, I'm true down to the core. I always do my duty, no matter what the price. Counting it up the cost, I know the sacrifice. Yeah, I don't wanna die for you. If I bear that cross with honor, 'cause freedom don't come free. I'm American soldier, American. Beside my brothers and my sisters, I will proudly take a stand. When liberty's in jeopardy, I'll always do what's right. I'm out here on the front line, sleep in peace tonight. American soldier, I'm an American. I'm an American. I'm American. American soldier, American. Beside my brothers and my sisters, I will proudly take a stand. When liberty's in jeopardy, I'll always do what's right. I'm out here on the front line, sleep in peace tonight. American soldier, I'm an American. I'm an American. I'm an American.
To the second full day of paying tribute to the more than 3 million servicemen and women who left their families to bravely defend our freedoms during the Vietnam War. I'm Jackie Meck, Mayor of the City of Buckeye, and the more time I spend at this memorial, the more I realize how much we need to support not only our Vietnam War veterans, but all veterans and their families.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Lord, we remember and give thanks for the soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen who cherished freedom and liberty more than life in defense of America.
I'm Brigadier General Brook Leonard, the commander of the 56th Fighter Wing at Luke Air Force Base, Arizona. And we're here tonight with the City of Buckeye and the American Veterans Traveling Tribute. It's truly an incredible event as we look at an 80% replica of the Vietnam Memorial Wall. It's an incredible opportunity for us to recognize not only our veterans, but particularly our veterans that served in the Vietnam War. It's an honor to be here tonight. We have our honor guard as well as our chaplain, and Luke Air Force Base believes in not only being in the community, but being a part of it.
We're here today to discuss the ABTT Traveling Vietnam Wall. We're here in Buckeye, Arizona. My name is Myra Curtis. I'm the Community Engagement Manager for Community Services in the city of Buckeye. We have a patriotic committee that we put together consisting of the VFW, the American Legion, the local Daughters of the American Revolution, and the Buckeye Elks Lodge. And together we pooled resources, volunteer responsibilities, and sponsorship opportunities to bring this wall together here today. We've had 4 days of over 5,000 visitors. It's been incredible. And each time the visitors come, we've had other people who want to volunteer as well. So it's been an incredible community experience, gathering of people who haven't seen each other, some in 50 years. One of the greatest opportunities we had here was on Thursday when we had approximately 800 school-age students who came to learn about the Vietnam War. They wanted to see the end result of the wall, and we provided them an opportunity with a 2-page educational document to learn about the war, and then we provided them with a name on a rubbing sheet that they had to go up to the wall, rub the name, and then they had an assignment when they went back to school, and that was to look up that party on the wall, that person, find out information about them, and perhaps even send their family a letter.
We are veterans of the military out here with Intel Corporation, volunteering our time here with the wall. What we're doing today is helping school children find names on the wall, helping them understand what the wall is all about, and engaging with other veterans. So it's a great opportunity for corporate America to come out here with our time and share a little bit of history about what we've done for the military and share some respect for those who've fallen.
Well, here I am in Buckeye, Arizona, but originally I was born and raised in Clearfield, Pennsylvania. And I'm going to put out a message to all my friends in Clearfield to let them know that today I was really in tears when I went to this traveling Vietnam Wall. And I saw the name of Charles F. Scott from Clearfield, Pennsylvania. And he was a friend of mine all through my grade school. I knew him very well, spent Christmas with him. It's a sad thing. He was a pilot. Every Christmas we would get together with his family. So I'm hoping that people from Clearfield and Curwensville will take a look at this show and just say a little prayer and remember the Scott family. After all, Charles was a pilot, and his name is on this traveling Vietnam Wall.
Welcome to the closing ceremony of the American Veterans Traveling Tribute to the Vietnam War Memorial. I am Jackie Meck, the mayor of the city of Buckeye. Today's events, including closing remarks from Congressman Paul Gosar from the U.S. House of Representatives from the 4th Congressional District. We'll hear from U.S. Marine First Sergeant Gilbert Contreras and witness a special presentation of the Missing Man Table from the Scottish American Military Society. Please stand and join us for the singing of the National Anthem led by Myra Curtis, Buckeye resident and the city's Community Engagement Manager. Then remain standing if you would as Mr. Dave Teeple, elder from the Restored Church of Jesus Christ Phoenix Restoration Branch, will bring the invocation.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that
Eternal Father, we've gathered here today in a land that allows us to gather because of the freedoms that we enjoy, many that we take for granted. But during this weekend, we have been reminded that freedom is not free and that there's a terrible price that is paid for us to be able to gather here and for the other freedoms we enjoy in this land. We're grateful to you, and we're grateful for all those who have served. We recognize that at that terrible price, Lord, it knows no color, no race, no creed, no religion. And so today we have come to remember and honor all those who have served, and especially those who have given their all. And that each one of them, Lord, regardless of their conditions in life, each one is one of your children. And they're loved by you with a love that goes beyond any thoughts or words that we have. So today, as we honor their sacrifices, will you please touch our hearts with a greater portion of that love that you have, and comfort the families of those who are still living with the sorrow and the loss of their loved ones. And please let your peace be felt in this place. We ask in the name of Christ. Amen.
First Sergeant Gilbert Contreras enlisted back in 1983 and rose quickly through the ranks after his assignment with the military police. He's been stationed all over the world. He is also highly decorated with service medals from both the Navy and Marine Corps for various achievements and commendations and services to our country. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome First Sergeant Gilbert Contreras, United States Marine Corps.
Thank you. I feel kind of humbled right now. I didn't realize I was going to be with a congressman and a mayor and a whole bunch of great veterans here today. I was asked a while back by Myra Curtis, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful young lady, who heard me ramble one day at the Elks Club, and she asked me to come down and speak. And I tell you, I've had dinner with kings and queens throughout the world, commandants of the Marine Corps, chiefs of staff. I provided security for 3 different presidents. We did color guards for the opening of their libraries. And I tell you right now, and I don't get nervous, I'm a little bit on the nervous side. More so, and sorry if I get a little emotional here, more so because of the Vietnam veteran. I've had a lot of family who fought there, died there. They fought in World War II, in every campaign you can think of, to include myself, who fought in the recent war going on. And I'm very, very humbled right now to be amongst giants. Where was God? I know you may be angry with me right now. That's all right. People have been angry with me before and will be again. Being angry is a part of being human. My son got angry too. It's all right to be angry at injustice, for example, or the death of your son or daughter, or brother and sister, and the Vietnam veteran. You probably think I'm unjust that they were taken from you and all those warriors lost. It doesn't seem right. It can't be loving. You ask, where was God? Why did he allow this to happen? I allowed it to happen because I allow you to have freedom. I could have left you on a string and made you dance all day without getting tired. I could have moved your mouth for you and made you sing all night without growing hoarse. I could have pulled a wire that would have let you soar skyward and have never fallen. I could have, but I didn't because I love you so much. I want you to be free to decide when to dance and when to sing. Free to determine when you will come to me in faith and hope. Because you are free, some of you choose not to dance or sing. Some of you select hatred over love, revenge over forgiveness, bombs over a helping hand. As you choose, I watch. I do not disappear. I listen to both the songs and the bombs, and I remember. Where was God? You wonder. I was there when these Vietnam veterans fell. I whispered in their ears, and I said, don't be afraid. I am with you. I held their hands, and they held mine. I cradled them against my chest as if they were a baby again. I was with their squad when they carried them back to you, and as they deal with their loss, wondering themselves if they will make it home. Amid the paralyzing fear, I was there. As I was there with my son in the garden, amid the unbearable pain, I was there. As I was with him as he was whipped, amid the terrible realization that life was ending soon, I was there. With him as he was hung on the cross and asked, like you, my God, why have you forsaken me? I had not forsaken him as I have not forsaken you. I did not forsake the Marines, the soldiers, the sailors, and airmen. I was there as they fell, and I will be there as they rise to eternal joy. I listened to their anger, answered their questions, and showed them why they had been created, not to end that way, but to live forever. To all my brother Vietnam veterans, I'm right here. The city of Buckeye is right here. We will be here when you're ready to come home, to fully come home. Love you all. God bless you, and Semper Fi.
This congressman is a very dear friend of Buckeye. He has been called several times by myself and others, and he's always responded. We have a couple of issues on the river bottom, and this man has stepped forward. So he is considered an extremely good friend of mine in the city of Buckeye, and I'm proud to be able to introduce you to you today for Paul Gosar. He's from our 4th Congressional District, currently serving his 4th term in Congress, and is focused on bringing more jobs to our state, preserving our natural resources, and is a champion of national security. Our current service men and women, as well as our veterans, play a big role in protecting our country and our freedoms. So having an advocate like Representative Gosar in their corner is a huge benefit to our veterans. But I'll let him speak for himself. Ladies and gentlemen, U.S. Congressional Representative Paul Gosar, and I might add, a dear friend to the city of Buckeye, Congressman.
Well, thanks, everybody. Thanks for attending. It's appropriate that we have the wall here, particularly on Veterans Weekend. Very appropriate. So I was asked to share some comments to close up the weekend. So if you look at the memorial, it tells you a lot about the time. The U.S. was awash of political disarray, and so the men and women that went over in this war in Vietnam had to depend upon themselves. And the very thing that you see in front of you, the wall, is ordained exactly that. From small to big to small again. They're supporting each other all the way across the board because they were so didn't know that they would get that same support here when they came home. And as you take your hand and you walk, just let it glance against those carvings. It tells you about a name. But more importantly, it tells you about a lifetime, a story. And that's what's so important about having this memento here, is to be able to remember each one of their stories. Because they gave it. They gave it all for our freedoms and liberties so that we can cherish coming and assembling here today in a beautiful park with beautiful blue sky. And we don't have to worry about somebody cracking down on us. It's all those little, seemingly insignificant, but so unbelievable gifts that they gave. And it's something about our veterans from that Vietnam War that are very special. Because what they did is they weren't treated well. And in our district, what ends up happening, I find all the solutions, almost all the solutions for our veterans coming from our Vietnam veterans. Because they don't want anybody else to be treated the same way that they were treated when they came home. Isn't that amazing? Selfless continues from a group of people that were called for duty and answer. Isn't that special? It's the highest regard that we can give to somebody when they lay down their lives for others. And so I hope that you'll get a chance to let your hands glance around some of those names that you may not know. Look them up. Find out what their story is. Because if we don't remember their stories, we're doomed to repeat history. These are heroes. These are what men are made of. Let's take the time to honor them by honoring our veterans that are still around. Say thanks. Give a helping hand. Gilbert said it exactly right. How can I help? Say a prayer. Offer a hand. Just a little goes a long way. So on behalf of our office and everybody that put this forward, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Take a little extra time. Touch the names. Touch the hearts of what those people who gave all. Those stories. Remember. Remember. They all did this for the greatest country in the United States of America. So here's to the United States of America. Here's to all our veterans. And God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. Now we'll have Gary Schultz and Myra Curtis as they perform the Statler Brothers song, More Than a Name.
I saw her from a distance as she walked up to the wall. In her hand she held some flowers as her tears began to fall. She took out pen and paper as to trace her memories. She looked up to heaven, and the words she said were these. She said, Lord, my boy was special, and he meant so much to me. And oh, I'd love to see him just one more time, you see. All I have are the memories and the moments to recall. So Lord, could you tell him he's more than a name on the wall? She said he really missed the family, being home on Christmas Day. And he died for God and country in a place so far away. I remember just a little boy playing war since he was 3. And Lord, this time I know he's not coming home to me. She said, Lord, my boy was special, and he meant so much to me. And oh, I'd love to see him, but I know know it just can't be. So I thank you for my memories and the moments to recall. But Lord, could you tell him he's more than a name on the wall? Lord, could you tell him he's more than a name on the wall?
Scottish American Military Academy was formed to preserve and promote Scottish and American Armed Services Forces custom, traditions, and heritage. In full regalia, they are doing a special presentation of the Missing Man Table, which honors the memory of fallen, missing, or imprisoned military service members.
Detail, I propose a toast. To all our veterans, those that have passed, those that have served and moved on, those that are still serving, God bless them. They will not be forgotten. We remember.
Thank you very much, and may God bless the USA.
Said he really missed the family, being home on Christmas Day. And he died for God and country in a place so far away. I remember just a little boy playing war since he was 3. And Lord, this time I know he's not coming home to me. She said, Lord, my boy was special, and he meant so much to me. And oh, I'd love to see him, but I know it just can't be. So I thank you for my memories and the moments to recall. But Lord, could you tell him he's more than a name on the wall? Lord, could you tell him he's more than a name on the wall?
Well, thank you for being with us on Hometowns and Heroes. I hope you enjoyed the show just as much as we enjoyed putting it together for you. And if you have a hero in your hometown, please let us know about him or them, and we'll see what we can do. Until then, let's make this world a better place.
Hometowns and heroes all across this land. Hometowns and heroes, let's give them a hand.
Join us again next time to hear another inspiring story featuring our next hometown hero. If you have a hero in your hometown, let's give him a hand.